Greetings everyone, my name is Atterville, and welcome to the finale of my Let's Play of Bugs Must Die. Continuing on from the last episode, I'll now showcase using the Lightning Bolt drone, which I got by completing Dungeon Mode. I'll be using Stage 13 for this. Also, as you may have noticed, my health and power bar UI has been changed. That's due to a recent update. As you can see, once the cooldown ends, the drone will fire a continuous lightning bolt at the nearby enemies. However, once the enemy or enemies are destroyed, I have to wait for the cooldown to end before it refires again. So I suppose this will be better against tougher enemies like mini-bosses and bosses. So let's see how well it works against a vampire boss. First, let's take care of this giant dragonfly. Seems like it didn't want to fire there. As you can see, it works best against enemies who don't die quickly. I definitely consider this one of the best drones in the entire game. The drone is definitely nice, but as I mentioned before in this LP, it's more of a support option. Your primary and secondary weapons will deal the bulk of the damage throughout the levels. Perhaps if I could equip multiple copies of the Lightning Bolt drone, it'll be a lot better. With all that said and done, here are my overall thoughts on Bugs Must Die as a whole. First, starting off with what I liked. All the primary and secondary weapons feel distinct and are fun to use. The Gatling gun is the basic rapid-firing weapon with some shot deviation. The laser rifle is a high-powered railgun that pierces through a line of enemies and terrain. The flamethrower continuously spews flames at a short to medium range. The almond spewer fires a steady stream of large bullets both in front and behind the player. The rocket launcher blasts groups of foes with ease and has high alpha damage. The wing gun fires a burst of projectiles and a wall of rockets forwards. The shotgun fires a short-range blast, and although the fire rate is too slow for my own taste, this can be rectified with some tech tree upgrades. Last but not least is the heat-seeking missile, which locks onto enemies and explodes on contact. And I like how every primary weapon has a supercharged mode that can be used when the special meter is filled. Those are especially handy during bosses and speedrunning. Plus, if you repeatedly battle large clusters of enemies, the meter will recharge considerably faster. In fact, at first, I underutilized this mechanic as I underestimated how fast this meter would fill up. I thought you had to use this more sparingly. In terms of sub-weapons, my favorites were the Super Dart, Punisher Ray, MOAB, and Napalm. although most secondary options are at the very least decent picks. The drones felt more like support tools, handy during longer stages, but I couldn't rely on just them, as you saw with the Lightning Bolt, super powerful, but it takes a while for it to fire. It complements all my weaponry though. The melee skills were all handy in their own different ways. I gravitated more towards the Zeus shield as I found its temporary invulnerability amazing for the mid to late game. Nonetheless, if you are a speedrunner or more skilled player, you'll garner more use out of the saw blade and dash. On a related note, I love how the max HP, slots, and weapons can be upgraded in the shop. You can theoretically clear the entire game without purchasing any upgrades, but this bridges the gap between the greater skilled and lesser skilled players. If one gets stuck in a level, they can farm up extra money on an earlier stage and use that to power themselves up. Now more players can complete the campaign while still enjoying the core gameplay loop. Most importantly, the core gameplay loop of driving through stages, eliminating hordes of hostile mantis beings, completing missions, and battling bosses is satisfying. Now onto what I wasn't so keen on about this game. The balancing of weaponry and heroes isn't the best. The Gatling gun, wing gun, and the rocket launcher to a lesser extent outclass other primary options in most scenarios. Most enemies are on the fragile side, so the slower firing or low radius weapons get shafted, especially the former ones, which is why I barely use the laser rifle and the shotgun. That's what makes the Gatling and wing guns so powerful, the amount of firepower they can put out. The wing gun is incredible against hordes of weaker enemies, and the Gatling gun is the best overall weapon in most scenarios. The rocket launcher is useful against more durable enemies and bosses, or when hit and run tactics are necessary, like during Stage 8. As I said, the other options aren't bad. It's just there are only a few scenarios to justify using the others over these, outside of dungeon mode, certain enemy setups, and for fun. Perhaps having tougher mantises, certain enemies being weak to and or resist certain weapons, and having more varied enemy setups could rectify this problem. I also take issue with the 3 default heroes balancing. The fact that the race car has the same max HP as the tank, as well as a faster movement speed, mean that it's the best option to take. The lower offensive power and range only applies to the default machine gun, not the other primary weapons. So the race car's deficiencies are effectively nullified outside the very early game. If it had the lowest amount of HP, that is, 1 lower than a default Jeep, I'd be a lot more okay with it. Or if the lower offensive stats also affected all of the weapons. As for the 2 unlockable heroes, Agents 6 and 9, I'm fine with them being more powerful. You must beat the game to unlock them after all. Plus, they have a fixed loadout and only 1 life. The pixel art of this game is okay. Nothing revolutionary, but it gets the job done, and is certainly better than many other budget indie titles. It kinda reminds me of the early 16-bit era. The upgrade shop's currency system could also do with some simplification. I feel the same system could have been implemented with only 2 or 3 currencies. For instance, nix the bronze coins and only keep the silver coins, gold coins, and gold bricks. I would also like if there was a way to skip the cutscene dialogue when starting a mission. Also, I kind of wish there were more arcade mechanics in the game to promote replayability, as right now, you can blow through the entire game within a few hours. Now on to what I didn't like about this game. The game is incomplete. See the final boss being immobile, and there being a spot where it's very easy to dodge all of their attacks. Also see the true final boss with its sudden one-shot cannon, and the other 2 levels in dungeon mode not existing, not to mention various bugs that cropped up around the game. The balancing of the levels and enemies feels off. The game starts out easy enough, but quickly spikes up in difficulty during level 2, especially during the pyramid boss, and then goes down again until level 8, where it goes back up again. Afterwards, it goes down again until level 13, where the last spike occurs due to the vampire boss. Levels 14 and 15 are notably easier depending on your loadout. In my opinion, the reasons behind this are low starting health, dangerous enemies appearing quickly, and 2 weapon slots at base. You start off the game with either 3 health with the Jeep, or 4 health with the tank or race car. Getting hit by anything in the early game costs 1 HP, and enemies like the purple melee mantises can easily surprise you if you're not paying careful attention or going slow. Their lunge attack has a longer range than what you initially think. Nevertheless, I overall enjoyed my time with Bugs Must Die. It's a fun 2D top-down pixel art twin-stick shooter, yet it needs more balancing, polishing, and addition of content for it to truly shine. As it stands right now, I found the game to be okay to above okay. If you wish to purchase this game, I suggest waiting for a sale. Well then, I thank you all for watching my Let's Play of Bugs Must Die, viewers. I would like to once again thank the developers for providing a key through IndieBoost so that I could LP their game. If you enjoyed this Let's Play, please rate, favorite, comment, and or subscribe, as they all help out the channel. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter as well, and join my Discord server, as I regularly post updates there. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all in a future Let's Play.